And we are live from Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Atlanta 154, unofficially named. And this is the finale of the Red Light Scrambler Series. 14 races have come down to this. It is now 4 drivers facing off here at Atlanta for 100 laps. 3 pit stops are expected. And as per usual, this is the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. So once again, welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Welcome to the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. We are here tonight for a very interesting race. 1.54 mile track, of course, being in Atlanta. As per usual, I am the one-man crew, Garrett Weaver, giving you all the action and commentary on anything else in between. So pretty much the same thing as always, as qualifying has just now wrapped up. So qualifying is over. And we'll see what the starting grid has to show in just a few moments' time. We have about an extra 30 seconds just before that starting grid is over. But your top 4 drivers having a little bit of a change. While James Skelton did win last week, they have decided that James Skelton will not be in due to 3 of the 4 drivers being all on the same team of Need for Speed Motorsports. So James Skelton, he is here tonight. Unfortunately, he's not in the playoffs. So we have DJ Anderson and Max Terrio, Tim Blum, and Sean Butler in that order as well. And where they will be starting is what you will be finding out right here. So the starting grid will be as follows here for tonight's finale. Starting off with the incorrect display of graphics already, unfortunately, so we'll see if we can get that up to the correct settings, and it is now correct. So starting off on the front row, we have the number 25 of AMD Lee starting off in first place. DJ Anderson, a playoff contender, potato, is starting off in the second place position. Third place goes to Max Terrio, another playoff driver, the second of 4. Starting off to his outside is James Skelton, who is not in the playoffs, but starts in 4th either way. And then just behind them, it's the number 10 of Tim Blum, as usual, Haviland Ford. Rounding out the top 5 positions, Richard Murdoch in the L1, not in the flames this week, unfortunately, but he does start off in the 6th place position, just to Blum's outside. Starting off in 7th place will be Sean Butler in the 88. Christopher Rothrock in the 984 starts off on his outside lane in 8th place. Starting off in 9th will be Brendan Minto in the number 20. Very well-known name here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. If you've been watching on Thursdays, that's where he has been as well. Tony Strano, he is also back in the 903, starting off and rounding out the top 10. Leo Bordage starts in the 11th place position in the number 7. Joshua Buckley in the number 2 starts off in 12th. 13th is Ryan Oldani in the number 98. And then starting off in 14th to his outside is the 12 of William Long. Patrick Orr starts off in the 15th place position, rounding out the top 15. And Brian Phillips, not taking a qualifying time, starts off in 16th. And that will round out your 16-car field here for tonight as the pace car pulls off. It will start rolling as well. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see what plays off from this race. As an unintentional play on words there, but point taken, hopefully. in the ticker for tonight, the starting grid, sorry, the playoff drivers will be labeled in red. Their names will be labeled in red. And, well, whoever gets up to the first place position will be the driver that, well, not first place, I should say, but the driver that finishes in front of the others will be starting, would be winning the championship, rather. Apologies for that. Forgot how English works once again. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here over the course of 100 laps. Again, 3 pit stops, about 25 or so laps. We're looking at about the pit window to be 25 to 30 laps. So pace car will pull off and the field will be in control of Andy Lee in the number 25. Off goes the pace car and off goes the number 25 and the other 15 drivers as the green flag flies. We are green flag racing from Atlanta. So a very interesting first few laps. Again, we are on the new package, and look at DJ Anderson trying to sneak up to the outside of Max Terrio, trying to advance his position to get in front and possibly win the championship. I believe the points will be going off of how many positions gained from your starting position as well as where you finish. And look at this, Sean Butler, Tim Blum, your entire top 4 in the playoffs are here once again, and Andy Lee is in the middle of all of this, almost quite literally. He's luckily just hanging out there in front, just trying to see what he can do to hang on to this race lead that he has for the time being, as these drivers are side by side. Sean Butler with the, actually that's DJ Anderson, sorry, with the edge over the 42 of Max Terrio as they enter turn number 3. You can see Terrio looking down to the inside, the 88 teammate of the 51, DJ Anderson. Look at this, you have about most of the entire series combined wins between these two drivers, the 88 and the 42, just in that one shot. The 51 of Tim Blum is pretty much all over the back bumper of Max Terrio down the back straightaway. And just like that, they all get single file. And now it could be the waiting game to see who pits when as they head down into turns 1 and 2 once again. Richard Murdoch looks up to the outside lane of James Skelton, trying to take a quick peek to the outside lane, just on the fender there. And there goes the 01. And there is the 01 once again. Oh, a little bit loose, and there goes the 01 off the corner. It's Richard Murdoch is in the outside wall once again, just like the first race of the season at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 01 of Richard Murdoch runs into bad luck, and it's not the first time that's happened, unfortunately. As we get a replay up on your screen right now, coming off of turn number 4. Got the outside of the wall is what happened. Unfortunately, that's going to put the L1 out of the running for the time being. We'll get one more replay. Oh man, the outside wall just came up from out of nowhere, riding the wall twice, about 3 times on the left side tires. And fortunately for Murdoch, he, I believe, is still continuing on, and he is, but back live It is Andy Lee leading the way at Atlanta Motor Speedway on lap number 9 of 100 this time by. Make your predictions on who you expect to win the playoffs here. You have a choice between DJ Anderson, Sean Butler, Max Terrio, and Tim Blum, all of which are 2nd through 5th for the time being. Meanwhile, in the back, it's a little bit of a peak of a battle there from Joshua Buckley. Oh, Strano. Yeah, they got the quarter panel. Everyone is very spread out at the moment, so this could play into a little bit of a fuel strategy race instead of a race on cautions. So we'll see how this plays out, as now Anderson's internet starts to have a little bit of a connection issue. So we'll see if we can get a rough estimate of who was where in the championship standings. And by rough, I mean a very rough estimate. So we'll go with this. DJ Anderson, well, he still has 3,000 points. I may be incorrect on that. Maybe 4,000, depending on what the point standings were bumped up to for these top 4 drivers. It is actually 4,000 points. Leading laps do count as bonus points. Do not forget, Sean Butler has the most of those. So at the moment, DJ Anderson still lays with 3,000 points in 2nd place. Sean Butler, well, he immediately moves up with about 3,004 points, I believe. 76543. Yes, 3,004 points. So Sean Butler currently leads the point standings at the moment. Max Terrio still with about 3,000 points. I do not believe points get subtracted. Sorry, 4,000 points rather. Same with Tim Blum. So at the moment it is Sean Butler, maybe as a rough estimate, with the most points, 3,004 points. We'll get a double check on what the bonus points are here, and apparently those are not available, so we will see if we can get a correction on that later on, and see. Of course, leading the race does have something to do with points. Again, I believe 1 bonus point for leading a lap, and then another bonus point for leading the most laps. But aside from that, is still being led. This race is still being led by Andy Lee in the number 25, and he has led all of the laps so far, in terms of completed laps at least. He's led all 14. He's leading the 15th lap as of right now. Everyone, again, still single file, trying to play it safe for the time being. So apologies for the silence. We're just going over to see if there's anything else on the points. And apparently there was not. So Tim Blum falling a little bit ways back, unfortunately, as Max Terrio peeked up to the outside, decides against it. So Tim Blum has fallen a little bit ways back. He may be trying to save fuel for later on in this race. But until then, Andy Lee continues to lead. We should be getting to the first round of pit stops here in about 10 or so laps. So we'll go through the entire field as they stand right now. It's currently Andy Lee in first place, not a playoff driver. Of course, DJ Anderson with roughly 3,000 points. And Sean Butler may be going to 3,003 points, while Max Terrio may be going to keep his 3,000 points. 4,000 points. Apologies for that. Oh, slides up the racetrack, nearly takes off the back quarter panel. So Butler and Terrio still remain in positions 3 and 4. Tim Blum is still in 5th. James Skelton in 6th place. Brendan Minto 7th in the wrong car number again. Well, he had it 1 week. He was close. So it's Brendan Minto in the a different number 25 as compared to Andy Lee, who was in a very different 25. So Brendan Minto officially in the 20, just the wrong paint wrap. As it could be sitting about for 6th place, Minto looks up top side, decides against it. Skelton doesn't really think much of it as Minto backs off. Currently in 8th place is Ryan Oldani in the number 98. Patrick Orr currently in 9th. Running at the top 10, Leo Bordage. We haven't seen him in a while, I believe, but it's definitely good to see that name back on the racetrack. Same with William Long. I've seen him around more pretty often in these races. He's 11th. Christopher Rothrock in the 984. He is 12th. 13th, Tony Strano. 14th, Joshua Buckley. Actually, he looks like he got a little bit loose off the corner. 15th, Richard Murdoch after making some contact with the outside wall. And Brian Phillips currently sits 16th. All drivers are on the lead lap at this time. So you can see the steady gap that Andy Lee has to DJ Anderson. I see the lap times come across this time around. 31.680 for Andy Lee at 31.654. So while DJ Anderson is faster, he's not that much faster due to, well, he has got a few drivers directly behind him. As Leo Bordage is battling the 981 and Patrick Orr down the back straightaway for position number 9. And William Long could have a little bit of a play into this. Looks like Long had to run in with the outside wall as well just a little bit earlier on in this race due to the fact that he has a little bit of damage here on the right front portion of his hood. Does not seem to be affecting him for the moment, as he just now got around the 7 abortage. And could be going around the 981 of Patrick Orr here in just a few moments as they head down into turn number 3. Nearly a bump draft down the back straightaway. As Bordage and Rothrock are side by side for position 11 off turn number 4. Lap number 24, we'll take a look around the racetrack to see if anyone decides to head to pit road. Tim Blum has caught up with Max Terrio. Will he make a move to the inside? He peeks to the inside just by about half, but decides against it. Your top 5 in manufacturers are a Toyota, Chevy, Ford, and Ford. We, of course, are riding on board with one of those 2 Fords here. So all 3 manufacturers are in the top 5. Gonna get all 3 manufacturers in the top 3, however. That is up to Max Terrio and his decision to decide when he should make the move. So we're lap 25. We could be seeing pit stops within these 5 laps, maybe a little bit later on, if some of these drivers have decided to stretch out just a little bit. DJ Anderson, well, never mind, I was correct, because Andy Lee heads to pit road. So does Max Terrio. Speed on pit entry looks to be pretty solid for the time being. More drivers enter pit road. The 20 of Brendan Minto, the 98 of Ryan O'Donnell, the 7 of Leo Bordage join as well. So take a quick look once again. Pit speed limit 50 miles an hour by the pit entry cones. I could be seeing some drivers. Oh, wow. Is that a 39? That was a 39. That was pretty hot on pit entry. DJ Anderson also on pit entry. Oh, boy. That's a lot of drivers that are speeding down pit road on the entry. As more drivers head to pit road, that is DJ Anderson, James Skelton, Tim Blum, Patrick Orr, Christopher Rothrock, and William Long, who may have overshot his pit box. He spun out on pit road, actually. And that's trouble for the number 12. Did he make any contact? No, he just came into pit road way, way too hot. Possibly trying to check up for the speed. Oh, that's going to definitely hurt him later on. And the 88 of Sean Butler makes it to 50 miles an hour on pit entry, as he is also in pit road right now. So at the moment, it is Sean Butler with the advantage on the rest of the field. Especially William Long, unfortunately, who got a little bit of damage. He did take a regular pit stop, so he's more than likely hoping for a caution later on in this race. Max Terrio is predicted to be in first place. We'll figure out when Sean Butler decides to exit pit road, but Max Terrio is all the way in turn number 4. Sean Butler out of pit road right now. A little bit of a faster pit stop to Max Terrio in general, so we'll see where they file out here on the exit of turn number 2. There's Sean Butler, and there goes Max Terrio directly by on the back straightaway. Just as Sean Butler gets up on the racetrack, we are back to where we started for the most part, as everyone has currently finished up their pit stops. So go through the field again as Max Terrio will go through once again. We have 4,002 points for Max Terrio, possibly 3,003. We'll definitely wait a little bit after the race for point standings to be confirmed. Sean Butler still with the advantage in points. DJ Anderson not so much. James Skelton in 4th, 5th place. Brendan Minto. Tim Blum also on a disadvantage. So at the moment it is still Sean Butler just by the amount of positions he's gained. Can he lead the most laps though? Can Max Terrio, lead the most laps and get a little bit more of a bonus? Because so far it's been 15 laps led by Andy Lee, who has dropped all the way back to position number 12. I believe he was too fast on pit entry. We'll take a look here to see what exactly had happened to that number 25. And unfortunately, we won't be able to get the exact speed, only be able to get his real-time speed, so he will be, we'll take a look to see what exactly happened. He may have sped on pit road. Was it on the entry to pit road? That's something that we're trying to figure out. He was about, he was a little bit over, but I don't believe that was the reason he missed, he stayed a long time on pit road. However, it was this reason right here. Locks up the brakes twice, has to, yeah, no, that waiting for so long, I don't believe a massive issue on this end for some reason out of absolutely nowhere. So, not sure why that exactly had happened. Internet connection is good on this end, so we will go for a quick commercial break. Apologies for the issues, and we will get right back with your live race here in just a few moments. This is the Racing Line Broadcast Network. We'll be back in just a few moments. Well, we are back live and the caution is out. Unfortunately, we do not know what it is for. We just got back live. So we'll see if we can get a debrief on what happened there in just a few moments' time. Also get an interview with one of these drivers here that have decided to stay out, possibly Tim Blum and Leo Bordage, along with Tony Strano being one of them. Unfortunately, their stint information is wildly incorrect. So they had pitted back on lap number 25, so as paint schemes and such reload, we'll see what exactly happened. Race off pit road looks to be Terrio, Butler, Anderson, and Skelton. So we'll see in just a few moments what exactly happened with the caution and what exactly it caused, or what the cause was of the caution, and we will be right back. We're not going to a break, but we will put you on our pace car camera, and we will bring you the information once it is available. So stand by just a few moments. Apologies in advance for the silence. So we are back live, or not live, but I am back, and apparently there was a little bit of contact between Brian Phillips and I believe Joshua Buckley, and that would explain why he is also in pit road. So unfortunately, it was a little bit of contact off turn number 4, where Phillips had gotten into the outside wall. So that is more than likely the reason on why we are under caution. It is, of course, the reason, as you can see on the ticker, however. Your top 4 are all your playoff drivers. Andy Lee had fallen back just a little bit. We'll see if we can maybe get a word with him. We will hold off to see when the pace car lights decide to shut off. I believe they will shut off this time by. Andy Lee was doing pretty well for those first 25 or so laps. And unfortunately, Max Terrio's lead lap count has also been reset. Pretty much any information through our graphics have been reset due to the random iRacing crash that we've had. So, again, apologies for that happening from absolutely out of nowhere. On the bright side, though, at least it wasn't the internet connection to the stream itself. So the lights will shut off this time by. And we'll be going green with the classic duo of Max Terrio and Sean Butler. Just double checking how many combined races these two drivers have won. A combined 12 races between both of these drivers, 8 of which have been won by Sean Butler, 4 of which won by Max Terrio. The most recent win for both of those drivers, Sean Butler has won on April 15th at Bristol, which is how he is here tonight. Max Terrio had won at Las Vegas over on April 1st. And of course, James Skelton, the 3rd driver to win this month in April. So we'll see if we can get a 4th different one in the form of either DJ Anderson or maybe even the 10 of Tim Blum, who's starting on position number 10 on the outside lane. So Max Terrio will bring the field to the green flag. As the pace car pulls off, we will be green flag racing once again at Atlanta. 60 laps to go this time by. Speaking of drivers that haven't won a race yet in this month, more over at all is DJ Anderson. As we ride on board the visor camera, you can see how close he was to making contact with Max Terrio. Sean Butler is following through with that number 51, his teammate as well, as they make their way down the back straightaway. Terrio will get shoved out of the top position and get moved down to third place for the time being, as they are still side by side. Terrio trying to hang on as much as possible, but it will not work for the moment, as it is Brendan Minto in the not really the 20, but also the 25 in a sense, battling James Skelton for position number 4 as they go side by side on the back straightaway. And Skelton edges ahead for position number 4, nearly makes contact with the 42 of Terrio. And side by side, just behind them, is the real 25 of Andy Lee. And Tim Blum could be looking for a little bit of a ways through, but it will not work for the time being. He's got Ryan O'Donoghue in that same exact line. Will Tim Blum make it 3 wide? He's looking at the middle. You can tell by his positioning of the car. Will he make it 3 wide? He decides against it. He backs off a very wise move and goes Rothrock up to the top side. So it's still side by side between O'Donoghue and Andy Lee for position number 7, but that will play off into the favor of Andy Lee. Correction, that's position number 6 actually. As right now it is between Terrio, I was going to say it's between DJ Anderson and Sean Butler, both of which have dropped off the face of the universe for about a half second. No, Anderson's internet not liking this so far. At the moment, though, it's holding strong for Anderson as they ride down onto the back straightaway once again for the 46th time tonight. It's going to be just about a 3-wide race, and that's set out to 2 wide between Rothrock and Tim Blum. Rothrock does not have the momentum on the inside, so it will be the 12 of William Long moving up to position number 9 from position number 10. Look at Tim Blum, just almost got the outside lane of Ryan O'Donoghue. Well, he just flew by O'Donoghue there. So Tim Blum utilizing the outside lane again, started in position number 5, as you can see on the graphic. So Tim Blum starting to make a charge as much as possible. Meanwhile, it is Sean Butler who is all over the back bumper of DJ Anderson. There's a count for how many times I'd say the name Sean Butler. It's probably realistically in about the 200s. Just as a rough estimate. More realistically, more in the 100s. We saw James Skelton peek out just a little bit earlier on, just on the back straightaway, and that is why he's looking down to the inside. Max Terrio also looking down to the inside, as William Long is getting a little bit swarmed here between multiple drivers. Multiple drivers are swarming themselves in a sense, as Leo Bordage and Ryan O'Donoghue battled out side by side for position at number 8. As they head down into turn number 3 once again, it is the 11 of Christopher Rothrock, the 984 of Christopher Rothrock and the 981 of Patrick Orr that were battling for position 11. And they have sorted that out. Now it's going to be Tony Strano making his way by up to position 12. O'Donoghue shoved up the top side to fall back. It is side by side for position 3 as James Skelton tries to make his way by on the outside of the 42 Max Terrio. This time by, it's halfway, 50 laps complete, 50 laps to go. So far, 1 caution for a 2-car incident. My goodness, a lot has happened in these past few laps, and I can't even catch a breath. Either way, though, it is halfway this time around. Oh, Terrio slides up just a little bit. Andy Lee has caught back up as well. That's going to shove Terrio down to 5th place. Although he may be able to rally back here on the inside to get back up to 4th. Can he get there is the question. Can he make that vehicle stick against that Toyota? At the moment, he makes it stick on the inside, but Can he find the momentum, the right line rather? Look at Tim Blum catching up to this battle. He has the best view of this. In fact, pretty much everyone has a better view of this. Riding on board Tim Blum, as it is going to be Sean Butler. Nope, he is still all over the back bumper. On the 51 and 88, our teammates, along with the 86, who makes his way up to third. This could be interesting. This could play into the rest of the race. Meanwhile, it's Terrio on the outside. Oh, nearly makes contact there down the back straightaway. And wait a minute. Terrio hits the back bumper. The 86 sliding down the front straightaway, sliding down off of turn 3 and 4 onto the apron. What a save. Oh my goodness. That is probably the best save I have ever seen by the 86, by anybody recently, I should say. James Skelton had that thing sideways the entire time down the apron. As we get to a replay here, apologies for the lack of picture. We'll get that set up in just a second. I'll get that reset in just a few moments. That's the wrong graphic, unfortunately, but either way. Look how much he's sawing the wheel left and right, back to the right. My goodness. Get the correct replay graphic up here on screen for you now, as we'll take one more look at this. Just an amazing job. All that just to save it. Absolutely impressive work. Just absolutely impressive work, as we are now side by side for the lead. This time around, it is the 88 versus the 51. Max Terrio could maybe make his way up into the winning picture here. The thing is, all these drivers have to do is make another pit stop, as they have pitted about 18 laps ago. That's back on lap about 30, 35, I believe. We'll get a more accurate number here in just a few moments. About lap 38 is when these drivers had last pitted, so now it's Sean Butler back in the lead, as far as we know. DJ Anderson second, third Max Terrio, fourth is Andy Lee, fifth the 10 of Tim Blum. James Skelton sixth after an amazing save, seventh Leo Bordage in his number 7. A little bit scraped up on the inside. Patrick Orr sits 8th right here. Ryan O'Donnell in the 98 sits 9th. The 12 of William Long, sits in at 10th. Tony Strano and Brendan Minto trying to battle out for position 11, but Minto cannot make it stick. They are 11th and 12th, respectively. Rothrock rounds out position 13. 14 is Richard Murdoch after a little bit of contact earlier on in this race with the outside wall off turn number 4. Brian Phillips is 2 laps down, currently sitting 15th. Joshua Buckley, unfortunately, is pretty much officially out of this race. So Max Terrio is caught up with DJ Anderson. Question is, when does Terrio decide to make the move? That may be going through his head right now. We'll see. The current lap times between these drivers, about a 0.06 second difference. Correction, that 0.07 seconds. Last lap time for DJ Anderson, as we bring up the comparison here, it is 31.469 for DJ Anderson, a 31.401 for Max Terrio. That small bit of speed, that small bit of time could help out the 42, and it may help him out right here as he makes his way to the inside, nearly hits the quarter panel, trying to get by to the inside of the 51 of Anderson. They'll go down in turns 1 and 2 side by side. Pitch stops being made by Andy Lee and Leo Bordage. And could be a crossover from the 51 on the back straightaway. Does he decide to make the move? Into turn 3 they go. Terrio gives him the lane. And the 51 of Anderson decides not to make the move. Again, Andy Lee and Leo Bordich are now in pit road. And I believe DJ Anderson has also made the same move he does, although he really locked up the brakes there on the entry. Not sure if he made it in time. Let's see. At least made it down to pit road speed in time. He somehow did, but he locked up the brakes in the process. So we are back live. Ignoring the graphic there. Smooth and slow into his pit box. Is Sean Butler going to pit road? No, again, pit speed is 50 miles per hour. DJ Anderson, Patrick Orr in pit road at the moment in their pit boxes. No one else has decided to make the move. Next pit stop should be expected to be about lap 75, unless you're Tim Blum, who decides to pit right away. Pit speed is 50 miles an hour, about 80... Let's actually take a look at this. 52 miles an hour, that may be incorrect. Either way, it's about 80 kilometers an hour. Oh, Tim Blum nearly undershot his pit box, but he does make it in time. Sean Butler coming to pit road. We'll see what his speed is on entry, and it is perfect. Perfect speed. That may be a little bit incorrect there in the just by a few miles an hour. There's only he's going 55 without being caught speeding. James Skelton also in pit road, another playoff contender. Sorry, was a playoff contender, a former playoff contender. But he did win last week after somebody ran out of fuel. I believe it was actually DJ Anderson. Meanwhile, Christopher Rothrock on pit road, firmly under the pit road speed. Sean Butler currently in his pit box. Murdoch makes his way to pit road as well. Does Terrio decide to pit? He does. That could give the lead over to Ryan O'Donoghue unless he decides to pit. He does not. Tony Strano and Ryan O'Donoghue and Tony Strano both stay out. These drivers could need one more pit stop if they're betting on the caution here. Tony Strano's up in the lead. I think O'Donoghue's out of fuel. No, he's not. His speed is still continuing on as there's a spin up front. That's the 903 of Strano. He's not out of fuel either. His speed is still continuing upward, although I'm not sure if he's slowing down right here for pit road itself, and he may be. Let's ride in car. His engine is still running, so it will be Ryan O'Donoghue going to pit road in front. We'll see what exactly happened here with the 903 off of turn number 2. Not exactly sure what happened, if he got tagged or if he got loose. But your replay is up either way. He got tagged by the 51 of Anderson. Nearly cut off the nose of Andy Lee. It's not the first time Andy Lee nearly had his nose cut off in this race. Second time. First time being an amazing save by the 86. Brendan Minto yet to go to pit road up until about maybe now. He decides to stay out. So Minto currently in first place. Andy Lee second. Your most closest driver in the playoffs is currently DJ Anderson. Sean Butler directly behind him in third. Quite literally directly behind him in fourth, I should say. Sorry. Max Terrio also behind. Same with Tim Blum, who's also behind. So it's now third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. There goes Brendan Minto to pit road, and the number, what should be the 20, but he does use a different paint scheme, so that gives the lead over to Andy Lee as he makes his way around. Although that could give the lead as well to DJ Anderson. So unfortunately, Joshua Buckley out. The only bright side of that is that we could possibly get points a little bit sooner than anticipated. We'll have to figure that out. We'll have to wait on that just to see if we can get an official confirmation. I was a little bit worried there for a second. I thought 51 was going to make the move. Now he does. Down to turns 3 and 4 they go. And it is DJ Anderson up into the lead this time around, off turn number 4. And Sean Butler is closing the gap. So soon we will be at 30 laps to go, just 2 laps from now. On number 71. As Sean Butler makes his way down to the inside of Andy Lee. 16 laps led by DJ Anderson. Could get the most laps led in terms of bonus points. Again, this is not exactly 100% accurate due to the counting error, due to the error that we had earlier, Iverson just suddenly crashing out for no specific reason. So Sean Butler moves down to the inside. We'll get an official lap count here after the race. We will say that. Approaching a little bit of lap traffic now between these two in the form of that 39 of Phillips. And it is now Sean Butler back to the lead with 30 laps to go. Second place, DJ Anderson. Third place, Andy Lee. Fourth, Max Terrio. Fifth, Tim Blum. Those two are also in contention for the championship. 86 of James Skelton currently sits in 6th. 7 of Leah Bordage, still in 7th after pit stops. He has not yet pit, I don't believe. William Long in 8th. 9th, Christopher Rothrock. 10th, directly behind him, is Ryan O'Donnell. We could be seeing a battle for 9th here. Patrick Orr sits 11th. Minto 12th. 13th, Richard Murdoch. Tony Strano, he's in the pit road in 14th. 1 lap down. So take a look at this little bit of a brewing battle that we have as the gap between the leader and second place have changed for the time being. It's about 0.5 seconds. So we'll take a little bit of a break at about lap 75. We'll be going double wide just so you don't miss a thing. Especially due to the impromptu commercial that we had earlier on. O'Donnell moves to the inside after Rothrock made a little bit of a defensive move to the inside. Again, this is for 9th place. Nothing really significant aside from, well, hey, guess what? I got single digits. You didn't. So essentially, it's a low-key bragging rights. It's a very subtle bragging rights, and it could be interesting to see what O'Donnell and Rothrock do here. Just trying to advance their position. You can see the damage that Rothrock has on his front bumper, unfortunately. That could be why O'Donnell is past him. O'Donnell has a little bit of damage as well on his right front, but not too major compared to the 984. Andy Lee just got passed by Max Terrio as well. So that means it's your top 3 being playoff contender drivers. The 01 is lap traffic. The 10, however, the 10 and the 25 are not. Maybe seeing Tim Blum catch up and pass the 25 of Andy Lee in a few laps time. It's currently 75 laps to go, and it is currently Sean Butler leading once again. Can he prove victorious after winning 8 races this season and win the championship? We'll find out in about 25 laps time. You won't miss a single thing. This is the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. Don't go anywhere.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
So we are back live with the soon-to-be remaining 15 laps as Sean Butler has, as per usual, run away with the lead. Meanwhile, James Skelton and William Long are in pit road. A few drivers making last-second pit stops. Somebody having to back up. It's Ryan O'Donnell trying to get back into his pit box and having it detect, but unfortunately it is not working out for that 98 unless he's out of fuel and can't really go around another lap. He'd have to go around one more time. There he goes. So unfortunately for O'Donnell, it's just insult to injury as Sean Butler goes to pit road as well. So that gives the lead to Max Terrio for the time being. Second place is DJ Anderson, not too far behind the 42. So Tim Blum sits in fifth as compared to Sean Butler's location. Well, I'll just go through pretty much what is remaining here in this race. Yep, there goes Terrio. He's lap 19 of his stint, 22 laps on DJ Anderson. Tim Blum is fresh on all of this. He could win this from out of nowhere if he can get by the 88 of Sean Butler, who's just now exiting pit road. And he does, and he gets a lot further on compared to earlier on in this race. Sean Butler just now comes back up on the track as compared to Max Terrio, who just barely got there. Speaking of barely got there, well, Tim Blum had taken, I believe, 2 tires because his pit stop is about half the seconds compared to anybody else. Terrio and Anderson leaving pit road. There's Tim Blum in the background. He gets by, and he is currently in the lead with 16 laps to go. And he'll be officially in the lead with 15 laps remaining here. Sean Butler also trying to make it by as well as quickly as possible. He moves up to third. Richard Murdoch up to second from out of nowhere. Murdoch lets the 88 by. Will he go down to the inside? Will he hold on to this third place? He's at lap 21 of his current run. Coming to lap number 22. Looks like it will be his 21st completed actual lap outside of pit road. So now the thing that everybody's wondering is, wait, where... Well, the one thing I'm wondering is, where did the 01 go? Tim Blum went back to pit road. Well, Tim Blum just immediately... Oh, no. Does Tim Blum have a penalty? Tim Blum had a penalty on pit road. It must have been speeding on pit entry. And that is going to be devastating for Tim Blum. We'll see what exactly had happened here to Tim Blum. Apologies for the blank screen for the next few moments as we try to get the replay back up for you. It's not speeding on entry for sure, although it may have been speeding on exit. We're not sure why Tim Blum went back to pit road, but he did, and unfortunately he's all the way back to 10th. He may have short-fueled, actually. That could have been the reason. So we'll go back live. So Tim Blum may have short-fueled by mistake. That may have just cost him the win. Andy Lee currently in second, just about 1 full second behind Sean Butler. Max Terrio is third. Fourth place, DJ Anderson, and that number 51. There's Tim Blom, but he is 1 lap down in 13th. May have short fuel. He overshot his pit box twice, by the way. Once on the entry that we saw, but also once on that previous entry that we saw. Max Terrio from out of nowhere. Did he just find the momentum to get by Andy Lee? It seems that he has. Now, can he find the momentum to catch up and pass Sean Butler? That's the real question. We're going to be doing a lot of rough math here, as Richard Murdoch is currently in pit road. But back up front, we'll keep this graphic up on the screen for you, because that gap is slowly closing. And you can see the time difference as well between Terrio and Butler. It's a .146 versus a .066, both in the 30-second range between both of these drivers. You can see that this sometimes matters, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see if the lap times come across as this time around. .260, a .175. Terrio still a bit faster, and that's a little bit of a benefit towards himself, because the 984 is a little bit of lap traffic there. Christopher Rothrock, 10 laps to go, 1 caution so far. Rothrock moves up top very, very far up the racetrack, giving Terrio all the room in the world to work with. And that closed the gap by about 0.2 seconds. It's now 0.75 seconds. And you can see, still ahead is Max Terrio in that number 42. It's the .221 versus the .451. You barely see him if you're not focused on the terrible circling here. You could barely see him off turn number 2 on the right-hand side of your screen, just peeking out. In the first race, it came down between Max Terrio and Sean Butler at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the first race of the season, all the way back in January 14th. Can the same happen again? That time it was Max Terrio that was victorious at that race. Can Terrio prove victorious once again is the main question. With 7 laps to go, the gap continues to close. There's not really much to worry about for Sean Butler. He's got a whole bunch of clean air in front of him, and it looks like they're starting to even out on lap times. Max Terrio had pitted, I believe, 1 lap later than Sean Butler. And the gap is still slightly closing between these two. It's just gotten in the 0.5 second range, back to 0.6 seconds with 6 laps to go. So now I believe we've officially hit the point of no return if the caution comes out now, compared to if the caution comes out between now and the end of the race, it is over, and the race could go to Sean Butler and along with the championship. The thing is, Terrio is falling off the pace now, and the third closest playoff contender of DJ Anderson, he's all the way back in 4th, and Tim Blum is a lap down in 10th, unfortunately. So it is 4 laps to go. Sean Butler for sure has the most laps led, and it's 0.6 seconds. The time just continues to fluctuate between these two drivers. As you see, it's nearly equal. It was a .824 for Terrio versus the .841. Just that little bit. Just crossing off these other 3 numbers, that .24 is very beneficial compared to a .41. This time around, we'll see how that time plays out on the laps. .848, .864. At the moment, still in favor of Sean Butler. Said his name many times, we're still going to say it many more times. It is now 0.8 seconds between the 88 and the 42. 3.5 seconds between Terrio and Lee. And I think Terrio may have used up everything that he's got. He's still a constant 0.8 seconds behind and dropping. And you can see the difference there. 0.2 second advantage to the 88 of Sean Butler. 8 previous race wins. It may come down to all this. The dominance constantly shown, aside from his internet, the dominance constantly shown by Sean Butler outside of his internet with 1 lap to go has been shown again throughout the entire season. 8 races, 8 race wins at 1.6 races in a row between January 21st all the way to March 4th. It comes down to the championship finale. Officially your race winner, and unofficially the champion of the Red Light Scrambler Series 2019 A season. It goes to the 88 of Sean Butler. 2nd place, Max Terrio. 3rd place, Andy Lee. 4th place, teammate to Sean Butler, DJ Anderson. James Skelton, another teammate, finishes in 5th. I heavily stress the word unofficially your champion. At this rate, it's been shown that he's led the most laps, I believe, 39 laps. 7th to 1st, along with not the 8 race wins not being enough. Well, if they weren't being enough. Andy Lee giving a congratulatory bump. And Sean Butler will burn it down on the front straightaway. Possibly. But at the moment, we'll go through his starting grid, finishing order as Sean Butler burns it down at Atlanta Motor Speedway in this finale. Again, we will hold off on the official word of who wins the championship until told otherwise, at the very least. But Sean Butler doing this 8 other times before at 1.6 times in a row. Does it for the 9th and final time this season. Sean Butler finishes first. 2nd place, second place, Max Terrio. 3rd place is Andy Lee. 4th place, DJ Anderson. 5th place is James Skelton. 6th place, Leo Bordage. 7th, William Long. 8th, Patrick Orr. 9th, Christopher Rothrock. 10th, Tim Blum. You can see the 88 of Sean Butler doing a Polish victory lap around the Atlanta Motor Speedway. As you have your final 6 drivers being Ryan O'Donnell, Richard Murdoch, Brendan Minto, Tony Strano, Brian Phillips, and Joshua Buckley involved in the one and only caution earlier tonight that we unfortunately did not catch. So Sean Butler with the burnout and a Polish victory lap to boot. Never said that before. So we'll get an interview with your top 3 in just a few moments' time, and one of that top 3 being this person right here, unofficially your champion so far this season. We'll be right back here on the Race Line Broadcasting Network. Don't go anywhere, as the post-race is coming up soon. Stay tuned. So we are back live here on the Racing Line Broadcast Network. We're back here live on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network with the Red Light Scrambler series, and we're going in a little bit of a reverse order here. So just a little bit of a change as per usual as we get everything just double checked one more time. Just make sure everything is working a-okay, and as it should. I have your little bit of a B-roll here in a few moments, but since into the finale and we decided to go into reverse order, Sean Butler is officially not only a 9-time race winner, but also the Red Light Scrambler Series champion, at least of 2019 season A, 2019 A season. Close enough. So, as much as he knows us by now, doing this the 8 other times, I'm still just going to let him talk. So, Sean Butler, congratulations again on your win tonight. My goodness, how was that? Because I thought Tim Blum had you on fuel, but I believe he short fueled.
Yeah, what a season! 9 wins, championship. Been a couple, but I think this has been 3 seasons since I've been the champion. So it's great to be back here. Can't thank my teammates enough. Me and DJ really worked good together tonight. I was just a little bit better than him on the long run. I kept staying out a little bit later as I could. Max started doing my strategy and trying to, stay out later than me to have a little fresher tires. I really thought he was going to catch me once he got to my draft there, and I was flat footing it through one the whole time and barely letting off in 3 and 4, just trying to keep him back there. And I think we both kind of overdriving it there at the end, but I don't know. It's freaking. This is you can't ask for a better companionship up here. Max, freaking great runner. Andy's a great racer. James, DJ, all these guys are great to race with every week, and look forward to next season.
And it's absolutely going to be wonderful to see what happens next season as well. So before we go ahead and let you go, any other final thoughts or shouts that you'd like to give for possibly the last time? That depends if I decide to go with this again next season. I'm tempted, but enough of my rambling. Go on ahead.
I just want to thank you for coming out here and doing these every week. Watch them every week, and it's always have fun. And thanks to everyone out there that comes in here and watches us. Hopefully you guys like the racing that we get going on out here. Usually we have more winners. Just one of those weird seasons where it seemed like everything was going my way for the most part. I wasn't sure about tonight, but kind of really happy about how things worked out, especially with the dominant season I had. And feels good to walk out here with a championship. Look forward to defending it next year.
Well, we're going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations again on your 9th race win of the season, but also your championship as well.
Thank you very much, Gary.
So that is Sean Butler. We're going to have a little bit of a twist here on everything because Andy Lee isn't available, but we're also going to have, again, just a little bit of a twist. Not only are we interviewing sort of your top 3, but we are also going to be interviewing your championship 4 instead. A little bit of an impromptu idea that we had, but we're still going with the 2nd place finisher of Max Terrio, who was closing in just a little bit on Sean Butler there by the closing laps of the race, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough, but still enough to at least pull off a 2nd place finish here at Atlanta. So I was thinking, Terrio, it was going to be a little bit of a repeat, essentially, of the Charlotte race earlier on this season where it was between you and him in the final laps. Well, this time it was Sean Butler that proved victorious, but you still pull off a 2nd place finish.
Yeah, for that same kind of finish, we needed the old car. It drives so differently that it just didn't work out at the end.
That is true as well. So any other thoughts on the race, at least with pit strategy or tire wear as well?
Yeah, that caution threw a bit of a strategy in there. And, well, pretty much everyone scheduled their pit stop at the same time. So in the end, it was all about getting in, getting out, and getting the fastest 2 laps we could there.
And definitely it was the best as well. So before we go ahead and let you go, is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to for your 2nd place finish here tonight?
Yeah, one to my girlfriend and one to my friend Max, and a shout out to Josh, James, and Richard for another successful season, and to you, Gary, for the added value of having a broadcast every week. I mean, it's sure fun for friends and family to watch us race. So hope we see you next season.
Hopefully that is the case for sure. So we're going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations and a great season to you as well for Atlanta. So I could definitely hear the dejection in his voice, but wait until we get to Tim Blum for sure. He is definitely going to be kicking himself over that. I would not be surprised. We'll find out what exactly happened to him, but first up, we're also going to head to DJ Anderson before then, finishing in fourth place, as unfortunately Andy Lee isn't available. So on the bright side, though, Anderson, you did manage to lead a few laps in this race, and it was there, but unfortunately the pit strategy just decided to say otherwise.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that first caution. I really thought I could have had an opportunity to do something if it stayed green, but after that, just I don't know what happened. The track changed too much for me, and just I was burning up that right front more than I needed to. But congratulations to Sean for winning the championship, and hopefully next season we can come on top and make something different.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week as far as back to pit strategy at least. Were there any differences on the racing surface between the beginning and the end of the race?
I felt like there was more grip, especially through 1 and 2. When the shade got there, I mean, you could run wide open pretty much the whole run, or at least just barely lift and get good runs. But 3 and 4 was just my Achilles heel tonight, and definitely have to get back to the drawing board here at Atlanta and figure out 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a challenge for sure, especially off turn number 4. I believe that's been getting most people tonight as well. So before we go ahead and let you go, is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to for your fourth place finish?
To my teammates, work hard every week. Trying to share data and information to try to make sure at least one of us can get a good finish. Uh, I love what you do with the broadcast. I like going back and rewatching it again. And I enjoy racing with everybody at Red Light, and I'm already ready to get next season started.
Next season is definitely going to be interesting for sure. So before, or as we go ahead and let you go, congratulations again on your fourth place finish.
Thanks.
So unfortunately, Tim Blum, I believe, has decided to opt out of an interview. So I, of course, wholeheartedly understand after that, because he, again, did finish, I believe, short-fueled and finished in about 10th place, one lap down, completely destroying his chances, unfortunately. So he did make it to the Final Four this season at the as a bright side. So that's going to be quite interesting to see what he can do for next season. As for next season goes, that depends if I am actually available to even broadcast it. Again, taking a little bit of a break after the June 13th broadcast. Last broadcast for a while. If you have been taking a look at any, looking for any future broadcasts here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network, June 13th is our last broadcast for a while due to life and, well, mostly life. So before we sign off, as per usual, we're going to go through your upcoming races, and that is going to be the Fuel Jetstream Media IndyCar Series going to the Indianapolis Grand Prix circuit in their Dallara IR18 machines for 50 laps. And then the very next week, it is a week off of Thursday. So we have an entire week off of race. Wait, no, hold on a second. We may not have an entire week off of racing. I'm jumping ahead of myself here, because next Sunday is actually going to keep the week of racing alive. We have one race next week, and it is, it seems like it was forever ago, but we do have the Flat Out Racing League arriving once again on May 5th at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Time at Richmond for 200 laps with their, I believe, their fifth race of the season. Halfway through the season we go on at Richmond. The Fuel Jetstream Media IndyCar Series live as per usual at about 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So as we sign off and eventually update the banner on this channel, we're going to congratulate Sean Butler once again on his 9th win of the season, as well as his championship for this season as well. An absolutely impressive job, dominant performance this season as well. And we hope to be back next season. We might be back next season as well for the second 2019 season for the Red Light Scrambler series. Until then, if things do fall through, then we will see you next time on another Monday. But until then, this is the Wrestling Line Broadcasting Network, and we will see you next time. Good night from Atlanta.